Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to go over some quick thoughts on guitars and amps and the right pairing. Recently on the socials I read somebody's question that said, hey, I got a PRS Silver Sky SE and I want to change the bridge pickup. What's the best pickup to do that? And something I kind of ran across in my own playing and my own gear, I immediately thought, do you have the right amp? Let me explain. So this is my little corner of the world, and the two main guitars I've been playing lately are my Ibanez Artcore series, and of course it's the Les Paul model with the humbuckers, and then my PRS SE NF3, and it's got those new narrowfeold pickups. I guess they're not new anymore. They're modeled to sound like single coils, so you get that classic Strat sound. What I run through are my two PV Vipers. The bottom one was my original 2010 version. PV then upgraded later on to, of course, the PV Viper VIP, and then now they make the Viper X series. And real quick, right here are my amplifiers. It models 12 different amps. Starting at the top here, and on this particular model, these 6 are clean channels. These 6 are dirty, so a little distortion. But right up top there starts with the twin. Below that, which I believe that is the Fender twin reverb. Below that's the deluxe. Then of course the Plexi, so the Marshall Plexi. There's the British, which of course I believe is Vox. On the other side up top, you start with the diesel, then you got the Frankenstein. A little below that is the 6505, and that is the Eddie Van Halen EVH sound, because of course they had the contract. JSX, Double X, and then Classic are PV amps, because they're PV. And then when I upgraded to the X, sorry, I'm trying to hold this still. When I upgraded to the X series, I've still got the twin. Below that, of course, I have some acoustic amps, then a couple of bass amps, and really over here, you'll see on my 4 channels, A, B, C, and D. D is a bass channel. I can plug a bass into this amp, which is really cool. Now, on the other side, I've still got the 6505. I've still got the, and then the 6534 is the Eddie Van Halen, but it's a little heavier. I've still got the Classic, the Triple X by PV. Still got the British, the Vox. Okay, so blah blah blah, George, we get it. You got a modeling amp. What I found is with my NF3, it wasn't sounding great like on through the Vox, or it wasn't sounding great through the Plexi. But when I went up to the twin reverb, it really sounded great. So I've dedicated a channel just for settings based on the twin reverb. And when I pick up that, I go to that channel. And then with the humbuckers, and I have a couple other guitars with humbuckers as well. These are just the main 2 I'm using. But I found that the Marshall Plexi sounded really good. Now I could still run this one through the twin reverb. It didn't sound terrible. But, the British, the Vox, even the Eddie Van Halens with the humbuckers sounded phenomenal. So essentially, and I didn't understand that. I would put my NF3 through different amps, and I almost got rid of the top amp last year, because I just thought I was, playing the NF3 through it, and I was not getting any of the sounds that I wanted. And I was just like, well, mate, this amp sucks. I thought they upgraded it. And then I took it out to an open mic one night, and me and the guy hosting the open mic were the only 2 guys there. It was Mother's Day. And he said, well, you brought an electric. Why don't you just play backup for me? And we did that for 4 hours. I didn't know a song he played except for one, Sweet Home Alabama, but I digress. I just happened to pick the twin reverb sound I just plugged in, picked the top one. And for that night, my guitar sounded, I'd never heard my guitar sounding really that great, like at a higher volume in a bar. And just like, oh, I was wrong. And then it makes sense that Fender will make amps that are going to make their own single coil pickup sound good. So the Fender Chorus, the Fender Twin Reverb, the Fender Frontman. And you always heard those stories about the guys with the Les Pauls and the Marshall stacks, right? Jimmy Page. And so anytime now somebody says, hey, I want to swap the pickups out of my guitar, my immediate question is, do you have the right amp for what you're using it for? Now, I still experiment because I can. And quite frankly, all the amp choices I have gets a little bit overwhelming. So I basically find the 2 or 3 that I like, and I just kind of settled into it because I've had these amps since 2015. Well, the one amp since 2015. However, keep that in mind. The right amp for the right guitar makes a world of difference. Thank you for watching, guys. Have a great day.